Continuing our coverage now of the crisis in Afghanistan, Peter Meijer, the U.S. congressman from Grand Rapids, recently returned from a trip to that country.
Political reporter Rick Albin talked to him about that trip and the most recent developments there.
It is a volatile situation. The men and women we have on the ground there, whether they are soldiers, Marines, diplomats, are working around the clock to secure the safe passage and the rescue of as many people as possible. Every American should be proud of the Herculean efforts that they're putting in, but it's an impossible task that they've been assigned. I'm incredibly frustrated that our earlier warnings to start the evacuation sooner, to speed up this process, went unheeded, but the situation on the ground is tense, and we are doing everything we can to secure the release of as many Americans and allied Afghan forces as possible.
We have about 4 days until the deadline to be completely out of the country, and it appears there's no extending that deadline. Are you confident on any level that all of the people who want to get out, who are eligible to get out of that country, will indeed?
The reality is they will not be able to get out by August 31st. We need to have contingency plans in place, and we need to start developing those now in order to secure safe passage to neighboring countries and then onward relocation. But even if we had the September 11th deadline that President Biden initially put out before he moved it forward to August 31st, there was always that possibility. We need to make sure we're doing everything we can to maintain those outward movements and to not leave a single person behind.
You and another member of the House of Representatives kind of unexpectedly went to Afghanistan. First of all, what did you hope to learn by going, and what did you in fact find when you were there on the ground?
I will be very clear. We went there looking to make the case to extend beyond August 31st. And after talking with commanders on the ground, after seeing the situation up close, we realized that that would put more American lives at risk. It would frankly hamper our evacuation efforts if we got into a protracted urban combat with the Taliban. While we obviously have strong forces in that area, our forces are in a vulnerable position. It's shameful. It is embarrassing that the Biden administration's withdrawal has created this circumstance, but this is where we are today. Our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marine, and diplomats are making the best of the bad situation, but make no mistake, it is a bad situation. We saw the vulnerabilities firsthand. We saw how they were struggling to rescue as many lives, as many individuals as they could. Sadly, those Marines who died on Thursday, their efforts, it was selfless service at its finest. Every minute they kept that gate open was a minute that a life could be saved, knowing full well the risks they were undertaking.
The administration was not thrilled about your trip, and in fact said through some unnamed source that they were concerned that you and another member being there could have actually taken away troops or others from the goal at hand. What was the reality?
Yeah, that was shockingly unnamed sources from the White House, State Department, and DOD are not telling the truth. The reality is that we had prepared for our own support while we were there. We brought in all of our own supplies. We actually left earlier than planned because someone from the White House leaked our presence to the media, and so we had to shift on the fly. The only resources we used, there was a general who offered us a member of his security detail who was not being utilized because he had no additional movements planned that day. That was it. This was not something that had heavy coordination. And again, our goal was we wanted to make it bipartisan. Two veterans who had not only served in Iraq, but also had worked as civilians in Afghanistan, understood the context, could be there quietly, lightly, and get out without creating additional challenges for our forces on the ground, but wanting to report back what we saw, those dynamics, and hear firsthand what additional support or resources were required.
Congressman, as always, we appreciate your time.
Thank you, Rick.